Let's work. Yo, it's go time, showtime, never backing down time. One shot, yo, make it count, yo. Crunch time, shine time, make this moment my time. Get a grip, yo, ready, set, go. We bring the thunder. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Yeah, it's my time, yo time. Step into the spotlight. Get lit, yo. Let yourself go. Our time, high time. Gotta go big time. This is it, yo. Never take no fight time. Grind time. Take it to the street time. Turn the roof off. Get loco. Game time, win time. We gon' bring it home time. No regrets now. Let it all go. We bring the thunder. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Let's work. Yo, it's go time, showtime, never backing down time. One shot, yo, make it count, yo. Crunch time, shine time, make this moment my time. Get a grip, yo, ready, set, go. We bring the thunder. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Yeah, it's my time, yo time. Step into the spotlight. Get lit, yo. Let yourself go. Our time, high time. Gotta go big time. This is it, yo. Never take no fight time. Grind time. Take it to the street time. Turn the roof off. Get loco. Game time, win time. We gon' bring it home time. No regrets now. Let it all go. We bring the thunder. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder.
Well, hello, and let's get ourselves a better portion. There we are.
There we go.
Yeah, it's going to be one of those nights, guys. I'm going to warn you now. We got a storm rocking, so yeah, we had to go live, but not go live and then go live. You're going to have to bear with us as we dance through this. This has been a fun freaking week.
Oh yeah. I'm not even in normal studio mode. I'm like over here like all of our other guests. Like I'm not logged in as you.
I know.
So I have no control over the show, but hi Amanda.
Hi Amanda, how are you? Welcome everybody. This is Mountain Bears. I'm Aeson, and of course with me tonight is my co-host, techie with the mostest, Joe.
Yeah.
Also known as Mr. Fussy Cobb.
What? I'm not Mr. Fussy.
You're Mr. Fussy because sometimes we can get you to fuss. You're not always fussy, so you can't be like me and always a bitch.
Well, someone has to be normal.
Mm-hmm. So where do you want to start this week? It is a little bit all over the place.
Oh, I don't know. Hi, Brenda. Hi, Cassie. Hey, Gwen.
Yes. All right, I think I'll just start with one thing. Yes, I have retired Beltane in the Force. It is gone into retirement. It is put to rest. I understand there's a couple events starting up. I wish them all the best.
Absolutely.
There's that. That phase is done.
Yes. So there is that. Like
Yes.
that was one part of the news. I don't know. Let's go ahead and jump into, because we talked a little bit about it on, I believe, Tuesday.
Okay.
I think maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, so Microsoft's latest Windows patches fixed the bug causing user data not to be erased.
Mm-hmm.
So if you've recently been using on Windows 10 or 11 the reset option, which is what a lot of people use in order to erase their data so they can sell a computer, yeah, that hasn't been working. It shows the data erased, but it actually doesn't erase the data.
Right.
So you may have some issues there. If you've recently gotten rid of a computer and used the reset option.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's not fun.
Right.
Not fun. Also not my preferred way to reset a system before selling it.
Yep.
Just side note, like there's other ways
Mm-hmm.
that work a little bit better.
There is.
When you start thinking about all the stuff people have on their computers, that's a really scary,
Right.
scary moment.
Right.
So yeah, there's that.
There's that. There is. Well, I know everyone's screaming about gas prices.
I'm not at screaming yet.
I'm like, hello, how long have y'all been driving?
But
Like, truly, how long have y'all been driving?
gas hasn't gotten cheaper, really.
It hasn't gotten cheaper. In 2008, we're still 20 cents cheaper than it was then.
Yeah, I keep feeling like they keep calling this the highest gas prices ever, and I'm still not sure how they're getting that number.
Me too, because I don't know. Let's see. In Columbus, Ohio, in 2011, coming home coming home for Christmas in the Lincoln, it cost us $75 to fill up.
Well, yeah, there's that, but I mean, moreover, I'm just talking about the per gallon price because I
It was
swear
$4.65. We were in big debate if we were going to come home that year.
Understandably.
Okay.
Understandably.
So I can't speak for here in West Virginia because I think the gas prices were like 10 cents cheaper, so $4.50 a gallon. Come on, people. Ooh. Furthermore, let's look at this. If 8% of your supply causes gas to jump $1.15, someone doesn't know their math right, and someone's rolling in some money. Because
there have been some accusations that this is effectively a price gouging situation.
Oh, this is a price gouging situation.
Yeah.
Point blank.
Well, I mean, again, there are some supply and demand issues there.
Right. Well, the supply and demand issues have been there. But the other part of that is this. We all know that everyone went running for Russian oil when the price fell and thought they'd make money, and then they can't use the oil in the United States. So what do? They're trying to punish us for not backing their bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what else we should be seeing massive prices on? This was your pop quiz on global economy when I came home from grocery shopping, honey.
I'm sorry, what now?
Remember your pop quiz last night from me about global economy? And guess who is the fourth largest exporter of something?
Yes, wheat.
Yes. Do we see bread prices rising, skyrocketing? No. But yet, the Ukraine is the fourth, not the eighth like Russia. Russia is the eighth. For those that don't know math, 8 means that they're smaller at exportation. So they're a bigger exporter. Matter of fact, their production is about the size of Italy in wheat. So we should be seeing massive bread shortages. We're not seeing massive bread shortages. We are seeing massive pasta shortage, which, by the way, we've really enjoyed the rice noodles. It's a lovely substitute made in, Taiwan or Brazil. Those companies are really, really good.
Well, yeah, you've been really liking the rice noodles, but now the rice noodles are a little weird.
mhm.
Like you're not making spaghetti with rice noodles.
Oh, I bet I can,
That
and I bet you'll like it.
I'm afraid. I think we should all be afraid.
Yeah,
But yeah, no.
I made
Um,
spaghetti with zucchini.
do what now?
I made spaghetti with zucchini. I made chicken Alfredo with zucchini. It was delicious.
You have. Although I was seeing a post earlier today, and I really wish I'd paid more attention to it. It was talking about zucchini flour and that it actually works. But there's a substitution you have to make. Like you have to like do some math
Right.
to convert it over. But you can replace wheat flour with zucchini flour. It's
Mhm.
just the numbers are off.
Right.
Like it's not a 1-to-1. It's not like you need 1 cup of flour, wheat flour, so you use 1 cup of zucchini flour.
Right.
So, but yeah, and there's other flours as well.
Yeah.
Like wheat's not the only thing, and maybe it's time we explore a little.
Exactly. What's even more interesting, if we had made the global climate changes that we, um,
With the zucchini flour. Okay, it was probably Brenda that shared it then. Yeah, it was Brenda's post. You can only sub it for 1/3 of the flour. Okay, got it now. I knew there was something on it. I saw it, and it's been one of those days like I see stuff and then I go and like end up having to do something else.
right. But what I find interesting is no one's talking about, oh, I don't know, the meat shortage that's going on and the price gouging there.
Yeah, you've been like we've been talking about some weirdo meat prices.
Yeah,
And like
$24 for a steak that looks like something I used to pay $5 for. I'm old, but I ain't that old.
Yeah.
So we've made some dietary changes. I'm really thinking about putting out a meal plan, one of my meal plans for the week to my Patreons. Patrons, if you'd like to see that, let me know. But we're doing a lot of fish. We're doing a lot of chicken. Recently I discovered that, whole chickens, which is the same freaking chicken you're buying in the frozen bags, except it's got bones and you have to slow cook it in the oven, is literally $1 a pound.
Yeah, because no one wants the hassle.
Yeah.
Like, it's just not easy.
Yeah. Okay, Brenda, I will share my meal plan for next week in the Patreon, and then you guys will see pictures of it on Instagram as I make it.
Yeah.
Yep.
Absolutely. But yeah, we're also, I don't know if you mentioned that just a second ago, but also playing with meal kits, which are fun.
Yes, we are playing with meal kits. We're trying to speed up Aeson's cooking process a little bit and cut down on his 7-course dinners.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
Like, we don't have, like, love you, but we don't have time for all that. Like, it's cute that you think that's what I need, but I don't.
Well, you have to admit, you normally get a very good dinner. I don't cook breakfast unless it's for dinner. I don't cook lunch unless it's for dinner.
Basically what he's saying is he feeds me once a day, and I'm supposed to be happy that it's not like bread and water.
What I'm saying is you get a full meal once a day. The rest of it is under your power. There's normally lunch in the refrigerator. There's always stuff for breakfast in the refrigerator, even quick stuff.
Oh yeah, there is. There totally is. I just had to get that one in. But no, like you were all upset though about like the meal kit thing. Like I can't post those to Instagram, and I'm like, honey, just put that it's a meal kit. Like, have you noticed that like everyone's like advertising for all the like every other YouTube stream that you're watching right now as like Blue Apron all over it and whatever the newest
HelloFresh, a Blue Apron, HelloFresh. Bring that down to West Virginia. Let's see what you can do with that. I'll show you how you can really cook that.
Well, see, now here's my problem though with some of the meal kits is I don't like the ones that are like, here's this really great recipe and we provided all the, stuff that you need
Mm-hmm.
and a recipe card. And then you start looking at the recipe, and the idea is like, well, that's great. I don't know where I'm going to get that weirdo herb and that weird spice and that thing that, like we're in Oak Hill, West Virginia. Hi.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
I've been really debating, you've got to make a trip to Charleston. We're making a banger trip. And this is what we're doing with gas is we're making one trip to do everything. I've been really debating
until
with
your
whether I
mother
want to
tries
ride
to help
along.
me.
Huh?
Until your mother tries to help me.
Yes. As normal, when she tries to help with something, she overdoes it.
Oh, she helped. It was beautiful. It was sweet. I got a message this morning. Typically the thing is, we have stuff set up on Mondays.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, hey, I'm happy to take you to your doctor's appointments, but let's try not to schedule many of those on Mondays. Like, let's avoid Mondays.
Right.
And she was so good. That doctor's office called to, confirm her appointment. And she went, wait, on Monday? No, I can't do that. It's a Monday. I need some other day. And she rescheduled that appointment and then sends me this very sweet, wonderful message. And I know she was expecting a gold star on her star chart for that.
Mm-hmm.
And my first thought was, no. I layered.
Mm-hmm.
I had stuff layered for that. While I'm there,
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna do this. And but actually it turned out it was wonderful she did it.
Right.
Because we had another complication like mere hours later pop up for Monday.
Yep.
So I'm like, all right.
Yep. We're losing our invisible assistant. He's going to work for another corporation.
Well, we're not losing him.
Well, he won't be at my beck and call at least 4 to 6 or 8 hours, hopefully, a day.
Yeah, well, sorry.
No, that's good. That's good. That's good.
I mean, poor despicable you. Like, do we need some little yellow minions running around?
I already have millions and they aren't yellow. Ask many people that keep saying I show up.
Well, there you go. So yeah, we'll just cycle minions.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. But anyway.
Anyway, so that's been good news this week.
Okay.
Of course, we're making, I've decided to make my errand day and my personal care day the same day.
I'm still not sure how that's going to work out.
What?
Like, okay, but errand day and personal care day all in one.
Right.
I don't know. I worry about that.
It'll be perfectly fine.
Like, I don't want your self-care to be like, self-care after an entire day of running errands. Like, you're just like totally like, meh, by the time you get to the self-care point.
Like, I really thought it in Walmart. When was it? Yesterday I went. They already start queuing people up because it was just like, what do they not have? Like, wouldn't it be great if you walk into a store and there is a wet board there that says no pasta, no this, we're out of this, we're out of this, we're out of an instant. Oh, okay, you don't have what I want. I can go somewhere else.
Yeah, I know, but do you know how much stuff that would end up being? And sometimes it's not that they have no, it's just they're not going to have what you need. Like, right. Yeah, they're going to have the multi-grain, like some weirdo bread. Well, but generally speaking, there's a point in which they have like, well, yeah, we have bread, but it's either over in the bakery and it's the fresh bread, and it's like an Italian loaf, or it's like the really weirdo, like the crustless bread that's, or whatever, like something weird.
Well, again, I think it would be really handy. I mean, they sell 81-inch TVs at Walmart. Stick one of them up by your store entry. It says, currently out of these items on aisle 1, 5, 14, whatever.
Yeah, except for that's like the antithesis of like sales.
Uh-huh.
like, you really don't want to take room in your retail location to list all the things you don't got.
Please, there's a large concrete wall right there as you walk into the store above the doors. Make it like an airport.
Like, I get the usefulness,
Mhm.
but no, you're never going to get a store to do it. Like, do you know how much, like, stores will try to prevent empty shelves? Mostly because it will create panic buy.
Mhm.
Like, people have a total reaction when they see empty shelves in a grocery store. They just start panic buying.
Mhm.
Because it's like, well, if you're out of this, and this,
Mhm.
there must be a problem.
Right.
And we're never going to get food again, so we need to buy more.
Right. But
And
that's where you go in with a list, and you go in with a plan, and you go in with an idea.
Oh, so Brenda's pointing out no parking places at ours today. People freaking out over the winter watch for tonight, I guess. I gave up and went elsewhere.
Yep.
Understandable.
Understandable. We went to like 4 different stores. Now, one of the weird stores that I'm really enjoying is they're so-called Dollar Tree, aka the 99-cent store, aka only $1. Now only $1.25.
Yes.
But what's weird is there's a lot of their food there that's really cheap, really good, and it's the same damn crap.
Well, and it can. It can be fine. The only thing you have to watch out for is like different product sizes.
Yes.
And whether or not you're actually getting a better deal. Like, sometimes it can work out. Like, if budgetarily you're at like, look, I need this, and this, and I don't have room to care about unit pricing.
Right.
But I have a budget.
Right.
Versus I have a larger budget and I can, so to speak, afford to care about unit pricing. Like, there's actually a divider line.
Right.
But because I've talked about different levels of poverty before, like there's poor and then there's like holy shit. Holy shit is sometimes when you're looking at I can't afford to care about the unit price as much as I need these items and I need them at this price.
Right.
Like, I don't have enough budget elasticity to sit here and pay $5 for something and get it in a larger quantity that's cheaper per unit versus I just need to fill this need for like this week, this few days, this meal, this whatever.
Well, here's an example, and it's a really weirdo example, and it didn't strike me until I done the 2 stores together, is that yellow rice that you love with your Asian dishes.
Yeah.
It's $1.87 at Walmart. And I believe it's 4 ounces, 4 or 5 ounces. Only $1 has it for $1.25. And it's like 2 additional ounces. And I'm like,
what?
What? And this has got saffron in it. Because, I hate buying packaged shit at times. So I looked to see what it had. It had saffron in it. I'm like, that spice is like $23 an ounce.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but there's not a whole lot in it.
Right.
Like, that's the thing, is like a little saffron goes a long way.
Yep.
And I'm sure that they're cutting it.
Yeah.
Like, it's not pure saffron.
I don't know. It's good. It's cheaper at only $1. We buy that there. I'm starting to buy soda there because I can get 3 liters of the sodas Invisible Assistant likes for $1.25 comparative to $2.19 for a 2 liter of the same damn soda.
Right. No, I'm like, there are hidden values in like any form of a dollar store, Dollar General, Family Dollar, Dollar Tree. There are hidden values there. You just have to be very, very careful that, sometimes you can get locked in on how much you're spending. And sometimes that is important if you have a very limited budget.
Right.
But if you have a more elastic budget, you can sometimes get locked in on what you're spending versus what you're getting.
Mm-hmm.
And you just keep looking at the price, not paying attention to what you're paying, like per ounce or per pound or per whatever.
Right.
And it can actually be cheaper
Right.
if it's something you're going to use a large quantity of and you can afford to do so, to go ahead
Right.
and buy the larger quantity.
Right.
You know, it's like there's a thing going around the whole boots explanation of poverty.
Right.
Is that like $10 boots will last a season and then your feet are still going to be soaking wet, but good quality boots are like 50 some dollars, but they last for years.
Mm-hmm.
But if you don't have $50, you end up buying a lot of $10 boots.
Right.
Even more than the $50 boots.
Right.
In, you know, total expenditure, because you never have $50 to buy $50 boots.
Exactly.
Yeah, like, yeah.
It's insane. All right. So I got to send this one over to you.
Okay.
I really have got to get better at sending you my news feed.
Aw.
We might have to start just forming a collective file.
Well, there you go. Oh, and there's another thing that I think we can talk about even without the articles. So before we go there real quick, I wanted to say, so Florida and the Don't Say Gay bill, that's going well.
Oh, do tell, do tell.
Well, I mean, like, it's not going well.
Right.
It's not going well. We actually have a story, but like, hi, is anyone else sitting here going, yeah, like we expected that to go well? No. No, they passed the bill, but it's getting ugly. Florida's taking a lot of heat. Like, have you seen the Florida covered in the word gay?
Yeah. Have you seen the high schoolers walking out?
Yeah. Yeah, that's our actual story. Sorry, I should have waited, but
no, you're good.
But yeah, so Cypress Bay High School students hold Say Gay walkout after lawmakers pass controversial bill.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, so in Weston, Florida, students at Cypress Bay High School in Weston held a Say Gay walkout Wednesday morning against Florida's so-called Don't Say Gay bill, which lawmakers passed on Tuesday and which now moves to the desk of Governor Ron DeSantis, who is expected to sign it into law.
Mm-hmm.
Republican sponsors say the Parental Rights and Education bill is about helping parents control what their children do and learn in school. Critics have dubbed it the Don't Say Gay bill because of its language in a particular paragraph, which specifies sexual and gender identity may not be lessons in K through third grades. That action alone conveys a very strong message. Right. That there's something wrong, possibly, and therefore requires that these children have conversations with their parents at home.
Right. Which is bullshit.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. Well, one, like, there's a whole, like, overarching theme on this one is this idea that as parents, here's public education 101, is this isn't about you. If you want a religious-based education, you need to enroll for your child. You need to enroll your child in a religious-based education.
Right.
If you are that concerned that, you know, you feel that, you know, you want to shelter your child from the world, and make sure that they, you know, only learn what you want them to learn, you need to look at homeschooling or some of the other options in the same vein.
Right.
Because otherwise, what public education does is makes is an education built around what we need kids to learn to function in our modern time.
Right.
Like that's what that education is built around. Is it's built around what do these kids need now, and what do they need going into the immediate foreseeable future. And please realize that as you're pulling that child into a religious education or into a homeschool situation, so that you can control and limit their exposure to things you find objectionable that are, built around, modern concepts,
Mm-hmm.
you're setting them up for failure in the future. Like
Right.
that's point blank. I don't know how else to explain that to you. I don't inherently find homeschool education itself um, exactly horrific, but if that's how you're using it,
Right.
like if you're going to use alternative education systems such as homeschooling or religious education, whatever they may be, charter schools, etc., to control what that child learns, and you're going to do it with I don't believe in this, I don't believe in that, and I don't want my child taught that, you're fundamentally setting them up for failure.
Yeah.
Because part of the education they're going to receive in public education is going to be one, that these things exist, and two, that these are things that apply to other people and maybe not you.
Mm-hmm.
And three, if they do apply to you but not something your parent appreciates, how to survive. Because I think I really hate the idea that you as a parent are so hardcore against issues of sexual and gender identities that you'd prefer to have a dead child than a child you just don't like and approve of their lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me.
Right.
As well as how these kids can learn to get along in a world where, if that doesn't apply to them, how to get along with others for whom it does.
Right.
So tell me what your plan is, if you pull them out of public education to, because you don't want them learning about these things,
Mm-hmm.
how you expect that child to function in the world when
Right.
they become of age.
Right.
Like, what kind of the village are you going to keep this child in? What bubble are you going to keep this child in to ensure that the choices you've made for them don't come back to bite them in the ass?
Mm-hmm.
Help me understand, because that's where I start having problems.
Right.
Is because you're teaching them the supposed, like, your belief system right and wrong, but typically what we see is there's no ability in that, no education within that, that teaches them how to interact with others who are different from them.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they do really good within that bubble, and then outside of that bubble they're a bit problematic.
Right.
And I don't just mean because they have a different belief, viewpoint, etc., but because they do not know how to interact with others that are different from them.
Right.
Like, they have zero tolerance for difference.
Right.
So that's where I have the problem. But no, that's what our public education system is doing, or
Mm-hmm.
should be doing, is in addition to teaching that these things exist,
Right.
also teaching how to get along in the world with people that are different than you,
Mm-hmm.
that may have vastly different opinions, beliefs, morals, values, all of it.
Right.
As well as being a resource and a beacon for those kids caught in the crossfire.
Right.
Between mommy and daddy believe this, and I identify as this.
Right.
And how do I survive?
Well, not only that, but it causes a safety risk in general for all children.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All
Um,
right. I am pissed off. I am aggravated. I brought this up in multiple shows, even talking to an author that was an activist in that. And if you guys remember that show, she didn't want to talk about it. She was trying to sing his praises, and it's like, don't bring his bullshit here. Little mini Hitler, Florida can go to hell.
Yeah.
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 Speaking of mini Hitlers and Lost in Space, well, at least one Texas judge has a good opinion and a good brain and stops, Gabbett Abbott's bullshit. Judge issues temporary injunction barring Texas from investigating gender affirming cases as child abuse.
Oh, gender affirming care as child abuse. Yeah.
Yes.
Really? Like, I'm glad someone gets it, but it's like, why do we have to be there? Like, these are the problems we create.
Exactly.
Like, when we start, because if you didn't know, like, Texas has unfortunately a stranglehold on a lot of our public or a lot of our educational materials across the board. And what those teach, as well as Texas has already been down this road for a while now of trying to control public education and putting it at the will of what parents want to learn, want their children to learn. And you see it's going so well there,
right?
As in we're dealing with this,
right?
That now we're having to deal with trying to overturn Roe v. Wade. We're doing like 15-week abortion bans, and now we're talking about the state trying to investigate pediatric cases of gender identity affirmation as child abuse.
Right.
Like, I mean, was it not enough for these people to hear that, like, pray the gay away was child abuse? Like, they have to turn around and go, well, then everything's child abuse? Like, is that what they heard? Like, the one time they decided that maybe counseling and therapy was a good idea. Granted, they bastardized it and used it wrong. But the one time, and they get struck down.
Right.
And then they turn around and go, well, then all, like, is that what it is? Like,
well, no, what it is they're trying to do everything they can to build cases and register and just build all this crap up. And we've seen this in the fight for gay marriage. We have seen this in other things. Now they're attacking the children. Okay. Now, I didn't have one gay affirming class in my life. Okay. A whole educational system in, let's see, 12 years and then another 10. So 22 years. I had a lot of classes, a lot of biology classes, a lot of science classes. Didn't make me straight. So what's your problem, you idiots? Is it because you're afraid that your children will become not like you? Well, guess what? They already are. We even see it as modern Republicans. They already are.
But here's the thing. They're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Like, your kids are supposed to turn out different. Like, this is supposed to be the wonderful world we live in. Like, and for people that are really opposed to cloning, why do you try so hard with your kids?
Yeah.
Like, why is it you think that everything you think is the height of intelligence, and you just need to clone that, like, just Xerox it?
Right, but like, this is what we see from dying beliefs and dying ideologies. The GOP in itself is currently dying.
Oh, yeah.
They are fractured beyond measure. We have continued to see that. They even tried to overturn the election. So how they're even allowed to be existent still as a party is beyond me.
Yeah, there's some issues there. But no, there's this whole like, but that's where I'm seeing a lot of this traditionalist, like quote unquote conservative, like the evangelical conservative. It's like y'all just want to Xerox yourselves into your children, and then like, did you not see? Well, of course you didn't see Multiplicity because that's of the devil. I mean, well, because it's the movie about the guy who clones himself, and then the clone of himself clones himself, and then
right. But it's the same thing they done with sex education. When they decided to preach abstinence, well, gee, we have teen mothers all over the place. Like childhood pregnancy went up 20% because girls were thinking, well, if he drives over top of train tracks, I won't get pregnant.
Or
that's
whatever.
Bullshit we have here.
You can't get pregnant your first time. You can't get pregnant if he pulls out. You can't get pregnant if blah 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 blah. I hate to tell you,
yeah,
it's not that simple. Like that's it's like the inverse version of like how we're having this big national debate and have been because of the certain illness,
right,
and mask wearing,
right,
and there are people that won't wear a mask because it's not 100% effective every single time. Okay, I hate to break it to you, but there's a lot of not 100% effective every single time. You have risks. Like it's never 0 or 100. There's gradient there within. Like no, it's unlikely statistically you're going to get pregnant your first time having sex.
Right.
Statistically unlikely.
Right.
Or less likely.
Right.
Or that, if he pulls out, if blah, blah, blah. All of these things will significant, like there's less than 100% likelihood.
Right.
It's not 0. I mean, like, I hate to tell y'all, if anyone's watching this that thinks it like, in those terms, and you haven't had anything but abstinence education, there are some people that can do everything wrong. That statistically, like, you did everything you could possibly do in the middle of a rainstorm to get struck by lightning. Like, you're holding a golf club and a kite with a key, standing under a tree. You're doing it all wrong.
Right.
And nothing will happen to you. You won't get pregnant. You will not get an STI. Nothing will go wrong for you.
Right.
And then there are people. One time is all it takes.
Right.
Statistics will hit like bolts of lightning.
Right.
All over the place. And it'll be like your first time included an STI, pregnancy, and like, sorry, it happens.
Right.
It's really low likelihood that, like, boom, 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 you're gonna get all these things happen at once. But and he pulled out, like, like, you combine those things, like, it was your first time, he pulled out, blah blah blah. There's going to be someone in that group that gets struck with the he pulled out, she got pregnant, it was her first time, and she has an STI, at least one.
Yeah.
From the encounter, like,
right.
Or vice versa.
Right. All right. So, moving on to a few other issues going on. Like, guys, there is a lot of shit going on. Congratulations to the first same-sex couple being married in Chile under the new law. 2 men have become the first same-sex couple to be married under Chile's under a law that took effect after a year's campaign by activists. So congratulations. We hope you enjoy this. Now, when we look at Chile, they've had an up-down all around because they have a large influence from the Catholics. However, there doesn't seem to be a lot of problems there. Like, what's the, like, they're still, like, they haven't gotten a fight like we are. They fought for a lot of things, but they have not had this trouble. Really, a third world country is doing better with adjusting to the day than America.
I don't think Chile's considered third world, is it?
Believe it is.
Really? I don't think it is. Like, they're not a world power, exactly. Right. I'm just curious if there's like a list of. Oh, there's a list of third world countries in 2022. Let's see.
Yeah, within 10 years it'll be a developed country. It's still in development.
Well, yeah, so it's in the in between.
Yeah.
It's not like there's a list like Mali and Chad and Somalia and Niger. Like, those are countries still considered with the lowest human development indexes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, we're apparently no longer using third world. We're just not using that, but everyone knows what that means. It's like,
yeah.
As in, I hope everyone knows what that means, is we're talking, very undeveloped.
Mm-hmm. Which is very beautiful there. It might be a good retirement spot.
Hey, there you go.
Sorry, U.S. keeps like it is. Aeson will become an EPAC. Have laptop. We will
expat. Expat. EPAC?
Yeah, an EPAC.
No, expat.
Yeah.
Expat. Expatriate. God.
No, an EPAC, applying for European citizenship.
Oh, there we go. Oh, but no, technically, actually, it is adding insult to inaccuracy when used in its modern context. Third world is considered to be a derogatory term that degrades countries which are developing and/or poor.
Right, but at the same time,
I'm just saying,
better than the United States.
Well, yeah. Like, we still get to technically say first world problems, but
yeah, third world accomplishments.
Yeah,
that's where I'm at.
Oh,
right. So let's go to. There's a new Biden species of vampire squid.
What?
Scientists discovered an ancient ancestor of the octopus in vampire squid and named it after Biden.
Okay.
The more than 300 million year old fossil Salmonidea bidea, a vampire rod, was unearthed from the Bar Glench limestone in Minnesota and donated in 1988 to the Royal Oriental Museum in Canada. And of course, the species has been named after President Biden, which species tend to get named after presidents.
Well, yeah, but vampire squid?
Yeah, it's not technically a squid, it's not technically an octopus, and they're not technically vampires, but they're called that way because they look like that.
They okay. Like, sorry, Joe. That's all I got for that one. Is that sucks.
Why? I think it's quite cute.
I know, but a vampire squid.
Yep.
Like, I don't think any president, like, one, it's a great honor to have something named after you that like, I get that part. But at the same time, it's like, really?
Mm-hmm.
It's a vampire squid.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think everyone hopes there's something better.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I mean? Like a bird or a plant or,
Right.
you know, like hopefully one that's lethal, toxic, things like that.
Right.
Like just vampire squid is just kind of,
Mm-hmm.
like, sorry, the things that go through my head, like I visualize it and it's
Hey,
like,
at least it wasn't a bat. I think that Trump deserves to be named after a bat, preferably one from a Chinese mountain. Just saying, scientist.
you know, like, couldn't we just have a fungus?
See, but he doesn't grow like a fungus. He's more like a bat that just sucks the life right out of you.
He should be the vampire squid.
Well, again, I think it's cute. I think it's wonderful for him to do that. Honey, how familiar are you with cryptocurrency?
Oh, as in, can I take the article and run with it?
Well, not only that, but I think we're going to have to figure out how much my readings are by crypto.
Oh, God. Well, see, that's the biggest problem with cryptocurrency and the general idea of, like, it as an alternative currency is
Mhm.
price conversion's wonky as fuck.
Right.
Like, I know no other way to say that is the price conversion concept
Right.
is ever changing. Like, I don't know how to set a like Bitcoin price
Right.
for anything,
Well,
because
you're
it's
going to
going
have
to
to learn
depend
quickly.
greatly.
Right.
Like, this isn't Canada or the UK of currency.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just sit there and go, well, we might lose a penny here or there, but yeah,
Well,
it's
what
about.
I'm going to love see how the strip. For those guys that are wondering what we're talking about, as y'all guys recently, within the last 6 months, I began accepting credit cards. That is being processed by Stripe. Stripe
Yes.
removed their discrimination policy and allowed us to begin processing credit cards instead of having to do PayPal.
Mhm. Of course, now some of the services may go ahead
Yeah.
and let you use like Bitcoin to pay a US dollar price
Right.
and just do the conversion
Right.
and call it a day.
Right.
That's a lot safer and a lot more up to date
Right.
than anything we would ever try to price out.
Right. So what I'm thinking, they're going to have to do the conversion. Like every day, like my Indian clients, my Canadian clients, they go to my site and they see what my price is. It is set by the conversion.
Yeah, but that's kind of what I was saying. There was like Canada and like a lot of the world's major currencies.
Mm-hmm.
You could sit here and just like go figure out what the conversion rate is, calculate it, and be like, it's gonna be within a a dollar.
Yeah.
Like plus or minus, it's not that big a deal.
Right.
But Bitcoin, oh my God.
Yeah.
That could
it's
change
auto-calculated.
drastically though.
Yeah.
Like we're not talking about within a dollar or two, like we may be like plus or minus 100.
Right.
For a $30 reading.
Well, and what I'm saying is it's going to it may make it look like my prices are volatile.
Well, but if you know what the base is and Bitcoin is just an option.
Right.
Like, I would hate to set your pricing in Bitcoin daily. And
exactly. That's why I'm going to let Stripe handle this. But as soon as they open it up for general merchanting, yes, I will be accepting Bitcoin. This is something that's been on my radar for a while now.
Yeah.
Or any other of the coins if Stripe processes them. Because they process my international payments now. So I'm perfectly happy with that.
Well, but here's the thing. I wonder, if someone makes a payment,
mm-hmm.
like, here's how little I know. I'm wondering though, if someone's converting Bitcoin
mm-hmm.
to figure out your US dollar price in Bitcoin to pay you.
Right.
And they make that payment using Bitcoin.
Right.
I assume that one of two things either happen is either A, you have to enable acceptance of Bitcoin directly for that exchanged amount.
Right.
Or you're still going to get US dollars, but they've also had to pay a conversion fee.
Correct.
Because no one's going to like convert that for free.
Well,
Like,
there's still
that's
going to be a
half the reason.
conversion fee on one side or the other.
Yeah.
I don't really like what happens now. If say a customer from India books a Zoom, which international customers I can only do the Zoom ratings for. We don't use international calling. You can, however, go through my on-demand service and they can handle it. But let's say they book a Zoom call. What happens is the Stripe shows them the rippy of them, and it's transferred to you. When I get it, it's US dollars.
Right. And they, but then I've always like, so does the client pay the conversion fee? And then you're still going to get like that way you split the difference because they're going to get the conversion fee, but you're going to lose a percentage.
Right.
For, activity fees.
Like $4 to $5 off that transaction.
Okay. Oh, like world currency conversion is so flippin' annoying.
It's not hard.
No, it's not hard. It's just, it's annoying in the fact that someone has to make money at every point in this.
Right.
Even when it's digital. Like, I understand paying a fee if someone is literally trying to turn their physical US dollar into a physical rupee.
Like
I
200 rupee.
Do what now?
It's like 200 rupee to the American dollar currently.
I know, but if you're showing up at a domestic border, or more importantly, an international border, and you need to do a currency conversion, I understand a fee for that. I do not flip and understand why in this modern era there is still a conversion fee.
Well, what was interesting is
digital only transaction.
Yeah. What was interesting to me is when I was traveling international and would use my card, the ATM would actually show me that currency, not the American currency, which was awesome. Like at one point I thought I was rich as gold, but like, dang, that deposit tripled.
I could see that. But no, like it can be very off-putting though, mentally. Trying to figure but for me it's more so I don't get why there's still such a hefty fee.
Right.
Like I don't get it. It's all at that point, it's all digital. Yes, I understand that at some point you have to balance the books.
Yeah.
And there is a literal deficit of one currency to another currency. But if you're doing all this digitally, can you not rectify that later?
Well,
and do a lower fee?
Well, at this point, this is what I understand is why we don't have universal currency.
Well, see, that's where Bitcoin was trying, I think, to do. Was to become a country independent currency.
Right.
Like it's a currency in and of itself, regardless of the rest of the world. You may not ever have to convert, but therein lies the problem: is with a highly volatile currency, it's very, very hard to like set a price and forget it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like you can't just sit here and be like the 0.25 Bitcoin store.
Right.
Like at one point, I'm sure that would have been like your dollar, your dollar store is 0.25 Bitcoin.
Right.
Your quarter Bitcoin store. Except now, a fourth of a Bitcoin is like, who knows how much.
Right.
And it may be more than or less than 25 cents tomorrow.
Right.
Like, you don't know. You wake up
Right.
every morning and have to figure this shit out.
Mm-hmm.
That's where I have a lot of issues with like Bitcoin as trying to stabilize into
Right.
global currency.
Right.
Is you still have a fundamental problem in which you have to daily, almost sometimes hourly, reevaluate what you're charging in Bitcoin, because something you are charging for, its Bitcoin value may have drastically swung.
Right.
Versus, like, you know, yeah, we have inflation and, you know, deflation on the dollar.
Right.
But it's not that dramatic.
Right.
Like, you're not going to potentially go broke or be price gouging someone for a bag of chips if you charge them $1.
Right.
Or $2 or $3. But if you're doing that in a Bitcoin denomination, that could swing so violently that you're talking about the difference between, you know, a couple US dollars and a couple $100,000 US dollars.
Right.
And it wouldn't take much.
Right.
But plus it does at its current valuation.
Mm-hmm.
Like the actual, like when you get into like, okay, like right now, where are we at with 1 BTC to USD? Yeah, so 1 Bitcoin right now is worth $39,142.50.
Right.
Okay, so since Bitcoin, 1 Bitcoin is like your whole denomination.
Right.
That leaves you at like $1, you know, as in, if you're trying to convert something simple like a $1 US into Bitcoin, it's 0.000026 Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
That's a really small number to work with.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and then it doesn't take much to drastically change it. Like, you move that 2.6 1 decimal place to the other side, it's $10.18. Like, it would be really super easy to screw up.
Right.
That would be my biggest fear, because it is an unfamiliar currency, and we all have that problem with foreign currencies.
Right. You know, and that's where, you know, we pay Bitcoin, or when I pay Stripe to handle all that. Like, they can go and do the Excel spreadsheet.
Yeah. Well, but then there's also the volatility of the currency itself, in which I don't know that anyone wants to be spending their Bitcoin right now.
Right.
Until the currency itself stabilizes.
Right.
Because you could get a $30, you know, Aeson night reading today.
Mm-hmm.
For, you know, 0.00077 Bitcoin.
Mm-hmm.
And that may be worth drastically more.
Right.
Tomorrow.
Right.
Like that 0.00077 Bitcoin could be worth $30,000 tomorrow. Right. Which is great for you. If you got a payment yesterday that had a value of $30, now it's worth $30,000.
Right.
Like, please cash out quickly, you know.
Well, it's a standard production. It crashes out. It changes out 24 hours after, whenever the batch runs.
Right, but you get what I'm saying though. Is if you've got Bitcoin right now, do you really want to go spending a whole lot of that
Right.
until like it stabilizes? Like that's my whole problem with it.
Right.
But it just, I don't know.
Right.
I don't like volatile currencies.
Mm-hmm.
Like I've always had issues with that. Like I
Right.
like a currency with some flow to it. That like, yeah, it has ups and downs, but we're talking like pennies or something like that. Like
Right.
it's small incremental ups and downs, not you could be rich and poor in the same day.
Right.
Like you could be the Bitcoin equivalent of like a homeless guy on the street 1 minute and Jeff Bezos the next.
Right.
Like, don't know.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the whole problem with Bitcoin, why we've been so slow. But it's like, okay, if the payment place is going to process it,
Mm-hmm.
let them process it.
Well, yeah, if someone wants to spend it,
Yeah.
I'm just saying I don't think, right now, let this settle.
Yeah.
Is where I think if you're spending or looking to spend Bitcoin, maybe let it settle.
Right.
Maybe let it settle. Because just looking, like it goes through a lot of change just in one day.
Right.
Like it's fluctuated in a band of $38,700
Right.
and $39,300 just today.
Right.
Like we're talking about, a good $600 swing
Right.
in value just today, one day.
Right.
So the bigger the transaction, the more change there is. And then you start going back like even just 1 year, it's huge.
Right.
Like at one point, like for instance, November 8th, one Bitcoin was worth $67,582
Right.
on November 8th, 2021. And then you go back to like July 19th
Right.
of 2021, it was at 30,842.
Right.
Like it basically doubled in just a few short months.
Right.
Like less than 6 months, it doubled.
Right.
But then we turn around and it's almost it's worth about 2/3 of what it was back in November.
Right.
Like that's wild.
Well, it's like looking at the American dollar. It's not worth as much as it used to be.
No, but how much fluctuation though?
Oh,
compared to world currency.
And considering world currency, there's a good fluctuation of the dollar because there's actually trading of the dollar. You can look at that.
Well, yeah. No, and I get that. And all currencies fluctuate, and I get that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying it can get a little nuts.
All right.
Like at least the peso is more stable than this.
Well, yeah.
I mean,
the American dollar, global Dow real time is, last at 3, it was down 5%. It's DYX overview.
mm-hmm.
But if you look at the map to it, it volatilizes quickly.
Oh yeah. Well, because, yeah, I'm pulling up the peso now, and it's like its height over the last year was $1 equaled 21.91 pesos.
Right.
And it looks like it bottomed out
Right.
at like 1970.
Right.
So 19.7 pesos to $1.
Right. So
Like,
if you look
that's
at the trend
pennies.
here,
Like, we're talking pennies at that
right.
point.
But now looking at the trend from March 17, 19,
Mm-hmm.
up, down, all around.
Yeah.
We're still not at the height of where it was valued at on February 22 of 2020.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's interesting to watch.
Oh, yeah.
But no, if I got like $3 million from a reading, yeah, that would go right into my retirement account at M1. And that's where I'd be
Well, I
sitting.
mean, but how bad would you feel, though? If, like, today you were to charge a client the Bitcoin equivalent of your reading price,
Mm-hmm.
and you wake up tomorrow and it goes from having $30 of value
Right.
to like 3 million.
Right.
Like, I'd feel really horrible for that client.
Well, it would depend on the client, but most likely they'd be getting some free readings for a little while.
Do you think? Like, damn, I think if a client gives you enough Bitcoin to be a millionaire tomorrow, they get lifetime free readings. Like, you just call him because it's Tuesday and you're bored sitting on a toilet.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's where that goes.
Right.
Like, here's your, like, point blah, blah, blah of a Bitcoin
Mm-hmm.
for my reading, and tomorrow you're going to be a multi-millionaire.
Right.
Yeah, you just call him because you're bored on the toilet. Like,
yeah.
Like, don't even. Like, he'll call me, I'll hand him the phone.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I'm just saying, if that's what happened.
Right. But if we went to $3 million net worth, there are going to be some other calls going on there.
Well, yeah, there's other calls going on there. But, like, I would, honestly, though, if a client paid me in Bitcoin, and then, like, I wake up the next morning and, like, say their $100 repair
Right.
became, like, $1 million.
Right.
Even $100,000.
Right.
The next morning or very soon thereafter.
Right.
I don't think I could sleep at night till I was like, let me cash this out and give you a check.
Right.
Like, I just can't. Like, I would feel like I robbed someone at that point.
Right.
But, anywho,
what do you got for Are You the Asshole this week? Anything?
Oh, no, I didn't. What did you find? It sounds like you found something.
Well, I'm looking at a few.
Oh, okay.
Anything else hit your news?
No, it's been, like...
Wild.
What?
It's just been wild. It really has.
Yeah. Like, there's been some local news stories that are more developing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I don't want to quite... Like, I don't like going down that, like, someone got arrested yesterday. Like, no, we're waiting. Till that goes a little further, because I don't like trashing people. Potentially.
All right. Let's go with this one.
Okay.
This one was much debate, and I think both of us have an opinion on this.
All right. Let's see how bad this one is. Ooh, am I the asshole for not sharing my lottery winnings with my parents or brother? The sum I won in the lottery was nearly £70,000. When I won, I was living in London. For those not from London, I'll add that property is extremely expensive there. My lottery win would not even cover a down payment. I'd need close to double it for a good down payment. Before I won, I had made peace with not owning until I was retired, and maybe not even then, and definitely not in London. I'm not yet 30, so it's a long way off. I lived in a small flat with three others far away from my workplace because it was all I could afford. Once I won, I searched for properties around the UK that I could afford. I looked for remote employment or employment in those places, and once I got a new job, I bought a house in Yorkshire using my winnings. It's modest, but the area is nice, and I don't have to worry about mortgage payments. My parents and my brothers say I should have shared my winnings with them. My parents are both employed and they are nearing retirement. They could afford to buy property if they moved out of London, but they don't want to leave. My brother lives with them and he isn't employed. He relies on their support and has been on benefits in the past. He has no impairment that stops him from being physically, mentally able to work. He also has no desire to leave London. If I had won a large sum, such as millions, I definitely would have shared. But as the amount was modest, and I don't have any left after purchasing my house. I'm saving for a car, and my furniture and appliances were mostly pre-owned and not new. I've been accused by them of turning my back on my family and being selfish by not sharing. We never had any problems before my win. Not the asshole.
Not the asshole.
Like, there's this idea,
Right,
that if you come into money, you're supposed to share money. Now, could I argue that like it would do good, potentially, maybe, that you should be, generous? Yeah, there's a lot of people that agree with that.
well, not only that, but
I mean, if your brother was homeless and you refused to let him move into the house that you bought with the lottery winnings and didn't have like a really good reason, I'd call you an asshole. But just for not sharing the lottery win, no. This goes back to the general theory of if you win money, you don't tell nobody. Nope.
Yeah.
Aww.
No, this goes back to, and this is the whole different view of things that we have at times. I take care of one person, that's because I'm responsible for her and my family. The rest of them can stand on their own.
Yeah.
Aeson wins the lot. Well, the Aesonite Corporation wins the lottery. The Aesonite Corporation will do its investments into a trust. And, life will continue.
Yeah. Well, and I think the more so thing is there's this expectation. And I don't know, maybe it's just me, but I've never felt like I would have a problem with that per se. Of like, no, I don't really feel like I owe people a large sum of money.
Right.
Like if that's what you're in my life for, like if you're gonna respond like the parents and the brother here, like you can go fuck yourself.
Right.
I'm sorry. I had good fortune. It doesn't mean I'm gonna be cruel to people.
Right.
Like I'm not gonna go out of my way to make my money, to like shove it in someone's face and like exploit them for it or anything like that.
Right.
But at the same time, I don't inherently see where I owe other humans that.
Right.
Like, even a few million isn't a lot of money. Like horrible thoughts, really it is. And I know we just covered that, like on one side, if a client had paid me like $100 in Bitcoin yesterday and it turned to millions, I would feel bad about.
Right.
Because it's like, oh shit. Like I wasn't supposed to get rich off of one repair.
Right.
Granted, arguably, someone buys a lottery ticket for $1 or a pound, or whatever it costs, you don't inherently assume you're going to get rich off of it.
Right.
And 70,000 pounds isn't rich.
Right.
It's money. It's a fair chunk of money.
Right.
Honestly, I think the parents should just be grateful they have one kid who is not leeching off of them,
Mm-hmm.
that use the money smartly, because, not yet 30 could have easily just drank and snorted that one. $70,000 could go quick.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing to show for it. Like,
Right.
there have been enough multimillionaires, like multi-million winners, hundreds of million winners, that have partied so hard, there's nothing.
Right. And that's why the corporation wins the money, not me. And the corporation starts taking actions within its larger business plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I don't feel you inherently owe people just for bringing you into the world or being related to you.
Exactly.
I mean, now with that, I'm not saying that you should go out of your way to be cruel.
Right.
Like, you shouldn't, like, I understand wanting to help people. I understand the need to help people. I understand community.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think you owe someone a living.
Right.
Off of money you won just because you didn't earn it.
Right.
Like, I struggle with that one. Like, I don't know how to clearly say that. Like, one, don't be a dick.
Well, again, they had enough to do what they wanted to do, which was invest in a long-term future. Something that none of the other family wanted to do.
Well, more so that side of the family enjoys London. Yeah. And I can understand that. I can understand wanting to live in London.
Mm-hmm.
I think, a lot of people can get that. Major metros are a wonderful place to live. It affords you a lot of opportunities.
As long as it's not Whitehall, I really don't want the opportunity to meet Jack the Ripper.
But no, the bigger point being, like, there's advantages to being in larger cities.
Mm-hmm.
It's also very effing expensive and will eat you alive financially.
Mm-hmm.
If that's a choice, but it's a trade-off.
Right.
And the original poster doesn't share that same belief.
Right.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with either group. Like, I understand why you'd want to live in London. I understand why you would not want to live in London.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing as I understand why people would love to live in New York City.
Right.
I also understand why people are like, oh my God, I never want to live in New York City.
Right.
I understand both. I get it. Like, I understand why people make a trade-off.
Right.
Like, I can live here for less, work remotely, blah, 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 blah. That's fine. Otherwise, there's benefits to living there, but it's going to cost you.
Exactly. All right. So let's cover our last story for the night. Then we got to talk about what's going on tomorrow night.
All right. What? We have stuff going on tomorrow night?
I have something going on tomorrow night. You'll have
that's right.
Tomorrow night.
All right. So is CVS our last article?
CVS is our last article. You can take that away.
I thought we were ending on good news anymore. I thought it was Am I the Asshole, then good news.
This is good news.
Okay.
This is company done right.
Okay, fair enough. CVS sexual harassment scandal leads to ouster of execs. Several CVS executives were fired after an internal investigation found they botched the handling of sexual harassment allegations within company ranks, according to a report. Karen Lynch, the CEO of the pharmacy chain, cleaned house after she was made aware of complaints that a New Jersey regional manager was allegedly harassing and inappropriately touching at least 2 female employees. The Wall Street Journal reported. The incidents have also prompted Lynch to overhaul the company's sexual harassment policy, according to the Journal. Shares of CVS were trading lower by just under 0.5 percentage point as of Friday afternoon. The New Jersey-based manager oversaw hundreds of CVS locations. According to the Journal, Lynch personally oversaw an investigation into allegations against the manager. After the investigation came to a conclusion in January, Lynch ordered his dismissal as well as several of the manager's superiors. The people fired weren't named by the publication.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll say I don't like that part of it, but I also understand why they would have chosen not to.
Right.
Like, on one hand, this is how you end up with high-level executive people leaving one company and going to another company where they do it again.
Right.
And then going to another company where they do it again.
Right.
Because, hi.
But Lynch on Friday informed around 450 senior leaderships at the company of the decision. She also revealed that CVS will offer its employees a confidential channel through which they can bring complaints of harassment. We absolutely have no tolerance for this behavior or actions of harassment, hostile, or abusive discrimination, CVS said in a statement to the Post. In late 2021, they received anonymous reports alleging misconduct by one of their field manager colleagues. After through investigation of an independent firm, we quickly terminated the individual, and others have since been exed from the company for failing to treat allegations with seriousness we expect.
And then the addendum here is in 2017, a CVS security worker was busted for allegedly taking shoplifters into a back room of the store and convincing them to strip naked rather than get arrested.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what the hell?
Right.
Damn, CVS?
Well, CVS is not playing games anymore.
No.
This is good news. This is good news, and this is why this was in our good news segment.
Oh, yeah. No.
One, this is a woman CEO going, we ain't having this bullshit.
Fair.
Two, she going, we ain't having this bullshit. And by the way, since y'all guys ignored this bullshit, you get fired too. Here's you a pink slip. Here's you a pink slip. Here's you a pink slip.
Everybody gets a pink slip.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, and I do appreciate that, and I do think that is good news.
Mm-hmm.
What in the story I like, because sorry, you see the title and it's like, how is this good news?
Right.
Someone want to explain to me? Because I don't understand the good news. Like, how is sexual harassment ever good news? But being in a company that overhauls its policies and does a massive cleanup of management, that is good news. That's a lot better than the sweep it under the rug and completely ignore it.
Right.
For ever and ever and a day.
Right.
So, yeah.
It's very good news. It's very great news. And we're happy to see businesses finally taking this serious. Discrimination, sexual harassment, sexual discrimination has been a problem in corporate America. It's nice to see a drug company stepping their game up.
Mm-hmm. It is nice.
Right. So, tomorrow night, I'm going visiting. I'm going over to Drunken Divination Night. Here's the link. All guys can go mark them, follow them. And I'm having a hard time because I haven't drunk in so long. It's like, okay, what do I want to take shots of?
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, no. Figuring out what you want to drink and then going, can I even do readings like this? Should you be allowed to do readings like that? That's going to be the
what I'm hoping is that I don't get my normal drunken mentality. And yeah, you'll be getting readings, but like, he's a fucking asshole and you're an idiot for dating him.
No, that's your normal reading style. What's different there?
Normally, I at least try to help them understand why he's an asshole.
Okay, fair. I'll give you that one.
So the show starts at 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I will be using my Cash App. This is a new app toy for me. Yeah, what's worrying me is if my filter gets turned off and then goes to the next setting, which is bitch mode. Because when I used to work a bar and got tipped a lot of drinks, I was a bitch. Total bitch. So it'll be interesting.
Fair. But no, well, here's the thing though. Can they play along at home and every time you get a card name wrong, they take a drink?
They can play along at home by cash apping me to get me drunk.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Hey, that's fair play along at home.
Yes.
You can also hit him up for a reading, which will be awesome.
Yes.
Or hilarious or wow.
Yeah. Because I've been reading drunk, meaning I've been like there's certain parties I go to, they're drinking, I'm not. I'll still get drunk.
Yeah, and I think you need to explain that in a little more detail so people understand that, because it sounds like you get drunk while you're reading, and no.
No.
That's not what occurs. Like, Aeson is having coffee and water.
Yeah.
And because he's reading, one drunk, inebriated person after another who may or may not have had marijuana, who may or may not have had other drugs.
Right.
All of that becomes part of the reading. And when you keep doing those,
right,
it has a cumulative effect.
Right.
Yeah. And yeah, you get to the end of the evening and you'd think he drank.
Yeah. You'd think I drank. I would not pass a sobriety test. I'd make them give me a blood test. Of course, I don't know if I can pass a sobriety test now.
Yeah. Like, there's one event in particular that you've done that every year, like, it's a struggle to get him to the car.
Yeah.
And it's like, please keep your clothes on and get in the car.
Right.
It's like, no.
Right.
You're good. Like, please leave the venue.
Right.
Like, you can do whatever you want in the Waffle House parking lot. No one will care.
Yeah.
Because we don't know anyone there.
Right.
But not here.
Right. So this is my Cash App. So if everybody is aware what my Cash App is.
Oh, cool.
It is Aeson's new Cash App. He's not exactly sure how it works. He will figure that out Sunday morning.
Yep. So $ Aeson Knight.
Yeah.
So
inventive.
There you go.
Yep.
And then, next Tuesday, he's going to be back for strip reading, which is, every time you Cash App him, he takes off a piece of clothing.
Oh, I think not.
Okay, fine.
Not the way I want it yet. And two, are you fucking nuts? We want to keep our PG listing.
Okay, fine. No strip readings. No strip tarot.
Yeah. But so that's going to be fun. I'm really considering drinks because I want a normal drink and then I want my shot drink. I know we're going to probably say clear liquors because dark liquors tend to piss me off and make me angry. So we'll not do those.
And no beer.
And no beer. Although I am looking at the EPs that we talked about.
The IPAs.
Uh-huh.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh, well, Alyssa wants us both to do strip tarot. And for our OnlyFans, you can get it now.
Honey, business ain't that style.
What? I flat out said I would turn tricks on a corner for pennies when I left my last job rather than stay there.
I know. Instead, you started
and be happier. Mm-hmm. So, but yeah, our life is doing a little better than that.
Yeah.
Like, we're not there, I'm not shaking it for rent money.
Well, no.
At the rate gas prices are going, we might be shaking it by the end of the year for like gas money.
No.
As may we
by the end of the year, there might be 2 beach bikes out in the carport. That's where we might be at.
That too. Oh, yeah. I just want the Jessica Fletcher bike. Like, if that's where we're going, I want the Jessica Fletcher bike. Big giant basket.
Mm-hmm. Yes, that's what I'm talking about. Let me find it.
Like I can handle that.
Well, and I've thought about this.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little more expensive than, what I thought I'd pay for a car nowadays, but
What? Oh, is it the 3-wheeled motorcycle?
the Buzzy.
What? The what?
Here we go. Let's use our new news feature.
Oh my god. Oh, the little electric bikes.
Uh-huh.
Oh, cute, cute, cute.
I can go grocery shopping in that.
Yeah, yeah, we do have a grocery store close enough. It wouldn't be that bad. You can make a
Right.
few trips.
Yeah.
Like if we did a daily grocery store trip, it would be a 2-for-1.
Right.
Get our groceries, restocked or add to stock,
Mm-hmm.
and get some exercise.
Yeah.
Hey, Tia. But yeah, no. Okay, I can see that. I
Yeah.
can see that.
Like, there's a lot of bicycle options. I've thought of getting a mountain bike to go with hikes. Oh, okay, so the non-electric version isn't too bad.
Okay.
It's
Oh,
only
Brenda almost bought the manual version of that from a friend.
really
Hmm?
cool.
Like my grandmother had the manual version, like the old school bike with the big giant basket in the back, not one on the front, but the big one in the back.
Right.
Like those things aren't bad. Like I mean, the gearing's a little bit of a bitch uphill, but
Uh-huh.
at least it was on the old ones.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have selectable gears. It was one.
Mm-hmm.
It had one gear.
But no, that could easily be rode through our town. It could easily take us grocery shopping.
Well, yeah, if we upgrade the model, because that one only adjusts for people 4'8" to 5'6".
Oh, yeah, we'll have to find one for a 6-footer.
You know?
I don't want yellow.
Oh, no, we have to get yellow. That's what color my grandmother's was.
Really?
Like, it was way faded. Like, it was, like,
Mm-hmm.
way lighter than that. Like, it was old, beat up yellow.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah. Like, it never had shine. It was oxidized to hell. Like, but, no. She had that. I had a bike. We went and rode bikes.
Cool.
Back in the day.
Yeah. So we may look at that.
But, yeah, no.
Yeah.
And no, I think with selectable gears, that wouldn't be bad.
No, I don't think it would be.
No. I'm good with that.
Right. So that'll be fun. We'll look at that. I'm really thinking about getting me a mountain bike to go bike hiking.
It's called biking.
Well, no, I've got dogs in a backpack.
Well, then you get the one with the basket and like all-terrain tires and like a shit ton of gears, and you just strap the dogs to it.
Right.
And then if you have to go uphill, you just send them first.
Well, they normally go first.
Mush.
I've been working on that.
Hey, there we go.
Yeah, but no, even the electric bikes don't look that bad. Mm-hmm. That's an alternative option that we may look at.
True.
Yeah.
I mean, especially for the around town stuff.
Yeah.
Like, if you don't have to go that far, and I don't know that's a bad thing in the U.S.
I don't either.
I mean, anyone else there with me? Like, we've been really car dependent for a really long time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, this whole urban sprawl thing just really isn't working out for us. Like, well, I'm not saying no cars anyone ever. I'm not there. I don't want to go back to the village.
Well, the village, if the village had everything I needed in it.
Well, you're never going to find anywhere that has everything.
Right.
But if you could be less reliant.
Right. Well, it's like your friend that you were telling me about, that they moved somewhere and like everything was in their building and their work was literally a corridor over?
Yeah, basically what they did is it was a newer development that was like a work live play development. I forget what it's exactly called, but that's how I always think of them. Is that it's like you have retail and dining, and then above that you have a lot of apartments, and it's more of a community centric concept. So that you're not just in this, like, you drive 10 miles to go to the grocery store, you drive 15 miles to get to work, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, everything's so decentralized from you that you're constantly on the go,
Right.
and you spend so much time driving to crap.
Right.
That you could potentially do almost everything right where you're at. Like, you can go to work, you can go home, blah blah blah, and it's not a big ordeal.
Yeah, but those are just cute, Brenda.
Oh, the Vespa scooters?
Yeah. Like, those are adorable.
Yeah, Vespas are cute.
Oh, they even have one that looks like a motorcycle. And one, yeah, they have one that has a cargo section. Like, that could be a nice alternative energy choice.
Yeah.
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 But no, I can get behind it. I can get behind it. Like, I would love to see that become a thing in the US, that we start creating more alternative driving lanes, that we get a little more safety in that concept. And quit thinking entirely in how do I drive from here to there. But
yeah,
I think that would be amazing.
I think it would be great. My only worry, and this is if we got the bikes and stuff, is parking, securing it.
Typically not bad unless you're on a college campus, because that's how I lost my bicycle. Because I didn't know we were supposed to or even could register with campus police that we had a bicycle. So I spent a summer on campus. I hadn't registered my bicycle. I locked it up in front of my dorm, like you do. And they literally came through one weekend and just chain cut every single bicycle on the rack and cleared it. And then they were like, well, what's the serial number? I don't know. Like, I have no idea what the serial number on my bicycle is. Like, what are you talking about? Like, you took it.
Right.
And I'm like, how do we resolve this? And they're like, without a serial. Did you register it? No. Was I supposed to? Like, am I required to? And they're like, well, no, but that helps us find it. And they're like, well, how would we know if it's actually yours? And I'm like, it was the most insane conversation. Like, UNCG owes me a bicycle is where I'm still at in my life.
You're right.
Like, you owe me a bicycle.
Right.
Preferably blue mountain bike, 10 speed.
Yeah.
If I remember correctly.
All right. Well, guys,
I was so mad about that.
Yeah, it's been a great show tonight. A lot of topics, a lot of stuff going on, guys. And as always, it's our baristas that keep us moving, keep us going, keep us functioning, helps pay for some of the production costs, and you get some really cool benefits. Like, recently I shared a playlist. I'm going to be sharing another one called Fuck It's Monday. On Monday, they're going to get my meal plan for next week. They're probably even going to get a planner setup video because, of course, I've been trimming my planner down and finding out what works and what doesn't. So they always get videos first. They get a special magazine for them called Under the Table and Dreaming. And
now they get a free class.
Yeah, they get a free class. And that's going to be continuing. Every quarter I'm going to give them a free class. Um, so the baristas get a lot, but they do a lot for us. They give us content ideas, they improve content thoughts, they help us flesh stuff out. And they get to know before anybody else does. So if you're either nosy or you want some of those good benefits, go check out our Patreon. It helps us produce the show. It helps us produce Coffee and Tea, which is coming up next week. It helps us produce the Psychic Coffee Shop, which, by the way, guys, Psychic Coffee Shop, we're having a guest, Betsy, and her book, which you have. I gave it to you. It was so damn good.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Betsy Cerullo, Shake It Off Leadership.
Yes.
Achieving success through the eyes of our labels.
Yeah.
There we go, guys. There's the book.
It's
a very pretty cover.
It is. It's a beautiful cover. It's a beautiful book. A really good story. I am excited because I actually bought this one on Audible before they approached me for the show. So you guys will hear about that story of synchronicity all around.
There you go.
Yeah.
Gotta love that.
Yeah. So that'll be on Tuesday night. Wednesday night is Divination Night by Lady Gwen.
Yep.
Wednesday night is Coffee and Tea with me and Dottie. And of course, we'll be back Friday with Mountain Bears.
Thursday night's Coffee and Tea with you and Dottie, right?
Yeah. Thursday night's Coffee and Tea with me and Dottie. Wednesday night is Divination Night. And Friday night is Mountain Bears. So next week, you guys are going to have programming all through, starting Tuesday, all the way through till Friday.
Yeah. Basically, the only days he's taken off for live streaming are Sunday and Monday.
Yeah.
Like, that's his live stream weekend.
Yeah. That's my live stream, produce a video weekend.
All right.
And just for those wondering, yes, we are redoing our story profiles and our stories. Those are hopefully going to be launching in April. And, you know, we've been really retuning that content. We brought back the Cups newsletter, which is now redefined as the Inner Circle. So if you've joined Aeson's mailing list, you'll be getting the Inner Circle. If not, you can go sign up for that. But no, we're doing a lot of interesting things, baristas. I've got a lot to talk to you about come our meeting. But until then, Vanna, take it away.
All right. So, of course, we want to thank Beverly Walker, Mika G, Kathy, Mary Winfield, Brenda Bryant, Ashley Guest, Shannon C, Shannon D, the ever wonderful Lady Gwendolyn, Charles Shaw, and Dottie the Psychic. If you'd like to learn more about us, the show, or how you too can become one of our Patreon sponsors and receive all the wonderful benefits our baristas receive, please visit us at pcspnetwork.com. And we do want to say thank you guys so much for being supporters. We really appreciate it.
We do. All right, guys, you have a great night. I'll see you tomorrow night with a drink.
Let's work. Yo, it's go time, showtime, never backing down time. One shot, yo, make it count, yo. Crunch time, shine time, make this moment my time. Get a grip, yo, ready, set, go. We bring the thunder. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Bring the thunder. Let's work. Bring the thunder. Let's go. Yeah, it's my time, yo time. Step into the spotlight. Get lit, yo. Let yourself go. Our time, high time. Gotta go big time. This is it, yo. Never take no flight time. Grind time. Take it to the street time. Turn the roof off. Get loco. Gang